We're gonna see if you guys can hear me clear. Let's see if you guys can hear me clear before we get into it. Shalom, shalom. Can you hear me? I mean, first I want to see if I can hear. Shalom, shalom. Okay, so the mic is perfect delivery. Perfect delivery. Definitely. Yep. So even in the comment section, just let me know if the mic go out. If you can't hear, if it go out, I just turn on the other one. So okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna face this way, face the east real quick to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Again, want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit, sound doctrine. Lord willing that you all continue to endure and be sincere in the same spirit. Shalom to the Akwat Yom, believers of his faith and his truth. Lord willing you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing the most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that is not in the faith. Right? This is an outside lesson, you know, on this fourth July. 4th July. This is a lie. Today is a lie. Right? He said knock off Kanye West. Um, I wouldn't even subscribe to Kanye West, you know, because Kanye West, he folded under pressure. He don't even know what he talking about. But yeah, we come out here to edify the hopeful elect. You know, it's a lesson that I did, I believe, a few days ago, where I said before Esau get destroyed, before his destruction, before his kingdom is taken, he must be revealed. Right? That's a key thing outside of, you know, the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's the first thing. Knowing you a Hebrew Israelite. There's multiple things that consist of this truth. But one of those things is that Esau must be revealed before the coming of Yahushai. So this is going to be another confirmation video revealing Esau. And Lord willing, let me look through my pictures to those that could be Edomites that actually own YouTube. Salaki. Let me look at my handy dandy chart. Yep. I see you, the CEO. Some of them is of other nations. Some of them is in the LGBT community. I see Google right here. So I think a Google owner. another LGB community, and the vice president and the chairman, you know, you got to know that the elites is watching. Another video I did is that I asked ChatGPT, do the elites watch the Hebrew Israelites? They're watching anything that comes against their system. So any brother teaching, revealing Esau, revealing wickedness and sin in this place, trying to wake up Jake, right? You are against their system. You are against their system. Well, I don't care what lesson it is. If it's bringing sound doctrine, 100% truth, right? Even brothers is not bringing 100% truth, but telling the black Latinos and natives that they're God chosen people, right? Pointing out who the Edomites is, who God love and who He hate, right? Those little simple things. Guess what? You're being watched too. But those that's teaching the volume of the book, right? Bringing forth sound doctrine that aligns with the word of the Lord from Genesis to Second Maccabees, Genesis to Revelation, the King James 1611. You are a problem. So getting into this live, and Lord willing, you can actually pay attention to the whole thing, or watch it later. You're gonna try to dissect the information that I came across. So, so I titled this lesson, "Is America Collapsing Like Ancient Rome?" Yes, was the response of Chat GBT. It will be worser. So this is the answer from Chat GBT. It is a confirmation, yes, that it will fall like Rome, but when we actually dissect it, it's going to be way worse, right? Because America is Rome 2.0 for those that don't know. Now, first, before we dive into the response of Chat GBT, I want to go to Daniel, the seventh chapter, just to show you the little horn is the revival of the fourth beast, right? The little horn is not a fifth beast, it's the same beast, right? It just had an end time performance. That horn wasn't going to get into power until after the Renaissance, the start of the Renaissance, the rebirth. So, like, not after, but basically after the start of the rebirth, then eventually America was revealed, or the little horn, if you want to say. So going to Daniel 7, and what does horn means? Right, let's get that, the meaning for horn, which goes into power. Horn can mean power, it can mean king, right? Horn is a king, a kingdom, or power. That little horn is a power. That little horn is a kingdom. That little horn is ran by a king, ran by the elites, started who's the head would be the Edomites, the Idumeans, the Caucasians, the Europeans, right? So this is Daniel, the seventh chapter, in verse 7. It says, "After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth," right? Going into, Rome war tactics, "devour and break in pieces and stamp the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns." The beast before Rome was the Greeks, the water love, the Greeks, the Persian Medes, and the Babylonians, right? And this was more diverse, right? Let me go to the blue letter and let's look up diverse. And I'm gonna try to make this, you know, short and stay on point, because this phone is not fully charged. Um, so let's look up the word diverse. What does it mean? Diverse. H8133. Shayal. Shana. Let me see. Yeah, so it's Shana. Shaina. Shaina. So diverse means to change, to be altered, transformed, frustrated, different. Different, diverse is different than all the other beasts before it, right? So going back to Daniel chapter 7 in verse 8, and it said 10 horns. That 10 horns is synonymous with NATO and the EU, the European Union. Verse 8, it says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. That little horn is a king, kingdom, and a power, which is talking about America that didn't come into play until later on, until the end times. It says, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Daniel is prophesying this, but did not know what this was fully going into, because that was for the Israelites' time in this generation, after 1,000 years after, like 1,000 and some change after Daniel, right? What is the three horns that's plucked up? The war of the British, the French, and the Spanish. Go look it up. The Revolutionary War, the Indian War. Go look up the French, the British, and the Spanish War that America went through just to have its so-called independence out of Britain, but it's still of Britain, right? And look what we now doing, calling it 4th of July Independence Day. This is not for Jake. This is for the so-called founding fathers of the European American Empire. I like the sound of that because this is a European American Empire, right? This have nothing to do with you, Jake. It says, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. This man is Esau, even lining up with Revelation the 13th chapter. That's 666. But every philosophy in political, religion, finance, all this system comes from the elites, right? In that round table, right? You have the three default spirits, right? The religion, the finance, and the military might, right? It's Esau as a bulk, right? From the elites, not these lower individuals, the elites that hide themselves and handle secrets behind closed doors. So now we were 7 is dealing with Rome. Verse 8 is dealing with the horn, which is the rebirth of Rome, right? Let's just get that, and then we're gonna get what ChatGPT said. Lord willing, this is edifying. Lord willing, it will be edifying to those. Lord willing, to encourage you, because I don't know if anybody knows what just the bill that just got passed, the big beautiful bill for Donald Duck, is to be done away with food stamps and Medicaid. Our salvation is getting closer, right? So this is Revelations chapter 13. I'm gonna read 1 and I'm gonna read 3, because verse 2, I don't want to take us away from the point, even though it's gonna stay on point. But if I expound on it, that's gonna have somebody asking questions for me to give the sense and give precepts to. So let's just stay in that order. Revelations 13 and 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Now, this is a vision, right, or through the spirit that John the Revelator is seeing. So this is not a literal beast, because then in Revelation 17 and 18, he expound on that same beast that we're dealing with the first beast, which is the reflection of the second beast. So when you go into this beast, it's a political power, a kingdom, a nation, and a superpower. What nation is this beast? This is speaking about Rome, especially when you go to Revelations, the 12th chapter. Shalom to the brother uh, Yerumya. That's the brother Yerumya, Yahweh Shema Shai Barakatah. To the brothers and sisters that's watching my channel and that's watching it later on, this is a brother that's singing the same sound doctrine under the same apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'm only just saying this. This is to further your education and being edified. You should go subscribe to that brother's channel. If he was teaching something else and of another camp, I would not even tell you to follow this brother. And don't follow to be entertained, because that brother only do YouTube to teach. So again, this beast is a political power, a kingdom, and a nation. What nation is that beast? A Edomite. And it's a superpower because it's diverse from all the other beasts. Seven heads, which is the seven governments of Edom, or the seven kingdoms of Edom. 10 horns, NATO and EU. Upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And because in the reincarnation, dealing with the second beast in this chapter, it has the 7 heads and the 10 horns, right? Verse 3, it says, and I saw one of the heads as it were wounded to death. That one head, which is 7 heads, is Rome. Rome was wounded when it fell, but it healed, where it says, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wonder after the beast, right? And Rome fell, but it healed. So if it healed, do it come back as another nation? Because if this is a beast, if this is a beast, and when we go down to verse 11 to 18, it says it was a beast that came out of the earth. So this is a kingdom, a political power, a nation, and a superpower. So if this is a beast that was wounded and then it healed, that means it's the same nation, Edomites. It's Edomites running this. Same political power, and it's a superpower even stronger than the ancient Rome, because now they have mass destruction. They have wasters, right? Good afternoon, brother. I mean, this is really my night. I was at work at 8 a.m. Didn't go to sleep. Came right to my spot to try to do a lesson, and here we are. A lot of y'all, Shema Shai, for still allowing me to have that energy. So now that we established that, let's see what ChatGPT had to say. So I said, what was the elites of Rome doing to make Rome fall? They said the actions and corruption of the Roman elite played a major role in its decline. Here's a breakdown of what the elites of Rome were doing that contributed to Rome's downfall. So it was the elites of Rome that contributed to the downfall of Rome. Now, before we get in it, the brother Yeremiah put Revelations 13 and 12. And they exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Right? And that shows the same spirit that the brother is dealing with, that backs up that this is Rome, because this new beast is making everybody worship the first beast. If it's different, why would it have you worship the first beast? Worship means to obey or drop the nail down to, right? Really, you become low. You're a servant. You're subject unto it. That's all it's saying. So we're bowing the knee. We're being subject to the first beast. We're obeying the first beast. What does America push? Rome pushed church and state. America pushed church and state. Let's look it up. Let's prove these things. Right? 4th of July is the day that we should be proving things. So, is America church and state? The United States Constitution established a separation between church and state, primarily through the First Amendment's establishment, which prohibit the government from establishing a state religion or endorsing any particular religion, while the phrase separation of church and state is explicitly in the Constitution, it is a widely accepted interpretation of the First Amendment, emphasizing that the government cannot favor or disfavor any religion. Well, jinkies on that. Donald Duck just said that America is a Christian country or a Christian power, right? Let's find that out. Because if they're not picking a side, why when somebody become president, they only put they put their hand on the Bible? Why not the Quran? Why not these other things? Donald Trump declares the US a Christian state. So when we just read that they don't choose a side, that wouldn't make sense. So that was just a loophole. That was a loophole. And this shows that Esau mouth is falling on himself. And they're not even following their own laws. That's amazing, right? So this beast right here is the same as the first beast. Because why would this beast have you worship the first beast if this is a new beast? Because they're the same. So going back to ChatGPT, they put political corruption and power struggles. Senators and emperors were greedy and corrupt, often using bribe, assassination, and betrayal to gain power. Don't America use bribes? Don't they say that some of these presidents pay their way to become a president? Don't the elites bet on both sides of war? Right? Didn't Elon Musk said that he put what 200 million on the campaign of Trump? A lot of people is getting paid off, right? And it says we're greedy and corrupt. Now we can look at when we think of America pushing drugs. That's a whole corruption, and they put it where Jake is at, where the 12 tribes is at. Um, when they're making freaking Vasky biscuits every year, a new one, and people are getting sick from these things, altering their DNA. Esau is making medicine to slower your health process, but not to just cure you. Really, a lot of medicine is a whole bunch of sorcery and magic that goes into corrupt or corruption or deception, right? Now, it's other bribes because they pay people off in music industry, the movie industry, right? Guess what? The movie industry, the government has a movie district where they push controversy, thoughts or scripts for movies. A lot of Black Panther, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, they made money off of those things. All of that was a whole bunch of deception, and that was all pushed through the government. Slavery movies. Hey, let's keep it going. Betrayal to gain power, where you see Democrats against Republicans, Republicans against Democrats. That right there is a sign that this kingdom, this nation is divided. It says emperors were frequently overthrown, often by their own guards, like a Praetorian guard, causing contempt and instability. That's what happened to Julius Caesar. Even people that he thought that cared for him came against him. America, guess what? JFK, other presidents was getting assassinated. Some was speaking on, hey, what if Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus, what if he was a black man the way you treating blacks? This man get assassinated, right? But look at now. Presidents are not elected, they're selected. If we're just reading what we read in Revelations, this is their kingdom, their system. Ain't nobody electing anything. We ain't doing nothing. The elites is selecting who they want, right? Nathan Rothschild said he don't care who they put in office or the face of a country or an empire. Whoever controls the money controls the empire. So this government is just a monopoly game. Images or titles of people in position of power, but it's just a game to be a forefront of who's behind the scenes. Like when you play chess, and I know Yorumya, I play chess. Yorumya, he be talking that, chess. But when you look at chess, who's the forefront? Usually that everybody wants to make moves or sacrifice, pawns. And all the other pieces, you try to make delicate moves. You try to strategize, right? You try to use the queen in all different angles, but you really reserve the king, which is the most important position. Because if you checkmate the king, game is over. The checkmate, the king on this side is Esau, Edom. Let's keep going. It says leadership became weak, short-lived, selfish. Many rulers ruled only for personal gain. Wait, hold on. Donald Duck got so many felonies, and he's just making moves to make the rich even rich. These tariffs is going to affect the lower class. They just separated. It's only high class and low class. They just remove middle class. Everything you got to know. Rich people is always out for their own. It's multiple video games on the phone, but I can only just to relate to this one. When I was a smoker, I was playing this game. It was a Wiz Khalifa game, and you sell pot and you buy stores, and you got to keep tapping the store. 1 minute is only making like a few hundred, then it's making 1,000, then it's making 100,000, then it's making a 500,000, then it's making 1 million, then it's making 1 billion, then it's making trillions, and then you buy other stores, other chains of the corporation, different strains of weed, and it builds up your money. You have to know that this society, this whole Babylon, is making the elites money. That's how the economy flourished. If it wasn't money moving, where is they making money from? Right? This is why they make all these avenues of money. People are getting paid off of views. When people do monetizing, you put ads on your video, like Shikari, Salaki, Son of Thunder, Captain. I got the premium package, so I don't get ads. But when I use the camp channel, I can see all these other camps got ads, you know. But you even got people that's doing streaming. They put ads on a video, and you're watching the video. They get paid for the views. Esau found a way of how you could bring revenue off of views. You know, they're getting more crafty. So let's get this precept real quick. Let's get Ecclesiastes 10 and 8. And if we don't finish it all, Lord willing, I could do a part 2 because I got the things, the secrets hidden in my handy dandy device. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 8. It says, he that diggeth a pit shall fall into it, and whoso breaketh a hedge, a serpent shall bite him. Right? And who is digging a pit? The rulers of this world. Because when you read from verse 5 to 11, it's dealing with wisdom, deals with rulers. Now, the rulers of this world deals with wisdom on the left-hand side. The elites created a system of corruption that destroys them. They created a system that's going to destroy them. Oh, brother, how do you know that? Brother, no, you got to prove it. No, I can't prove it. We're going to use the Lord's word that's going to prove it. Just one thing, one device that Esau made. This is Isaiah 54, verse 16. Behold, I created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. The Lord created the person, which is the Edomites, the Teman, the descendants of Edom, of Esau, that makes that is the smith. The Lord created Teman, that is a very good welder or engineer, because Esau has a great sword. Revelation 6 and 4. In Genesis, Genesis, the 25th chapter or the 26th chapter, he would be blessed with the sword. Revelation 6, Edom, or that red horse, has a great sword, right? It says, "In that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy." So on the left hand side, this goes back to we read in the Ecclesiastes. His wisdom is from the left hand side. The sinister angels helped him make these mass destruction weapons because then we have in the time of Lot's time when the fire and brimstone came from the heavens. How do you think that happened? The angels took the elements that you don't even see. It's elements all around us. Atoms, molecules, minerals. It's all up in the air. They created fire and brimstone from these elements and sent it down. Right? You got to know the angels, right? Yahushua and the angels, they do the Lord's bidding. So anything that happens, a death spirit, that's all sent down on behalf of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Next point: economic exploitation and oppression. The elites tax the poor heavily while avoiding taxes themselves, which we just seen that. We seen so King, we see that. So they do a heavy tax on the poor, but not on themselves. Let's get something. In the time of Yahweh, if nobody don't know, they were getting taxed. This is Luke, the second chapter. It's a TV show dealing with this Caesar we're about to read, Caesar Augustus. I think it's called Rome or the Sartorium. I think I might have to watch it again. Message, I got it. I think I'm gonna have to watch it again. It says, "And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed." This is the known world that the Romans ruled. They ruled the lands that the Assyrians had, the Babylonians had, the Persian Medes had, the Greeks had. They had that plus more. Those were the known lands, and they taxed them. And this taxing was first made with Cyrenius was governor of Syria, and all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. I'm gonna continue to read so you can know that this is in the time of Yahushai. And Joseph, Yahushai's father, also went from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David. This is how we know that Yahushai gets his lineage from his father Joseph, right? It says to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. So they were taxed. They were taxed. So this is in the time of Yahushua. Before Yahushua got born, his mother and father was in the Roman captivity. Roman captivity. When Yahushua was walking the earth, Roman captivity. Didn't the Pharisees try to trick Yahushua by sending other little spies and servants of theirs? And they came with a coin. They said, "Hey, should we reward or give tribute to Caesar?" He said, "Man, come on, man." He said, "Man, show me a penny, show me a coin. Whose superscription is this?" They said Rome. You can read the KJV, the NLT Amplified. It says Rome. And he says, "Reward Caesar what is Caesar, and reward to the Most High what's the Most High." What's really the Most High is the elect. But to reward Caesar is his tax. You know, Esau gonna get his. He's always getting, right? And just seeing what happened to Donald Trump, that's a extreme example, right? Let's go back. It says they hoarded wealth and bought luxurious items while the empire suffered poverty and inflation. Wait, hold on. I don't know if y'all know the elites, they bought luxurious items. When you go into Greek captivity and the Rome captivity, they had a lot of our uh, possessions. Let's look. In the Greek Empire, which America is a reflection of it, Revelations 13, verse 2, right? It looked like a leopard. So even this beast looked like the Greeks. They act like the Greeks, the philosophy of the Greeks. But let's see something. Yes, they got the pictures of the real Israelites, but they even got your prized possessions. A lot of their wealth stems from Solomon, right? All the riches that we had in the temple. So let's see if we can find this in First Maccabees, the first chapter, or is no. Better yet, this is First Maccabees chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 6. It says, when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, woe is me. Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people in the holy city and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, in the sanctuary into the hand of strangers? Her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets, her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? Her spoils is those vessels, those rich vessels. We had a big tall menorah. We had other man, we had wall of gold. They were chipping away at that thing. Let's see what else we can get. I think I think that's it. All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman, she is become a bond slave, right? Really talking about Israel as a whole, the 12 tribes, we became a slave, right? And that's really again and again. But the main point is that they went in our temple and they took our glorious vessels and carried them away into captivity. Even our vessels is in captivity. That's crazy. Our vessels are in captivity. They serving a purpose. Don't you know some of the things that you got, they put in museums? Oh, ooh, look at that. Nice. And they make money off of these things. Don't touch it. It's ours. Or they keep it hidden. Like I believe the woman Elizabeth, whatever her name, that old lady that passed away in Britain or Europe or England, that stone that she got, I believe that that is Jake because we were playing with rubies and diamonds like it was nothing, man. They put a currency value on those things. We were wearing them natural. The true wealthiest man on the earth was Solomon. Yeah, you know about Mansa Musa, but Solomon was the wealthiest, especially under Yahweh Bashem Shai, because he had even more than gold and silver. He had the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which money cannot buy. Right? So again, it says they hoarded wealth. Y'all don't know these museums, the under the Vatican, a lot of their elite high places where they have council, where they have museums, they hide a lot of your artifacts. The Vatican, they have a lot of your artifacts hidden, man. Right? When you watch like movies of Aladdin, certain movies where they go somewhere and they find gold deep down in a basement somewhere, that's not just sitting there. Don't think that they just put that in a movie just to be there. The elites is doing the same thing, right? When you want to hide treasure or keep treasure, you keep it hidden. You see movies of the most precious jewel, right? They got movies of people stealing the most precious jewels. But guess what? Nobody have stolen the menorah or the possessions that the Israelites had that Edom had. No, because they keep those things hidden. They hoard them. Now I know a lot of y'all might know people that hoarded their house. Go look it up. It says slave labor replaced paid work, causing unemployment and class tension. Now, just for all of y'all to know, even in physical slavery here, we had unemployment where you wasn't getting paid to work. Better yet, let's look up the definition of unemployment. Let's look it up. Unemployment or unemployment is of a person without a paid job but available to work. An unpaid job but a person available to work. A lot of your forefathers, your mother, your sister, your cousin, your auntie Lulu, Uncle Raheem, Latasha, right? They were working for free. Oh yeah, yeah, you look like you can work real good, and they wasn't getting paid. You probably get crumbs. Now look at Jake now. Get a full-time job, making six figures. Now you think you're doing something. Got you. They got you, man. They got all of us. Really think me thinking I got this garment, I got this on, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about you got a car, you a slave and you got your own little personal chariot, which is a vehicle. This is the modern day chariot. And we think we're doing something. It's a video I did long ago, and it's on YouTube. I got Lord willing, I might post it again. A billionaire says, he said, he said, we create or push sport cars to make you feel like you got something or you're doing something great. But no, we're just trying to amuse you for our own amusement. In those type of words, that's what he said. Now, for correction, I might repost or screen record what he actually said word for word. But they created those things just to catch you. Guess what? What do a lot of Jake now? Before back then, Jake we just wanted a car. 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 Now, if you don't got a Benz, a girl don't want to talk to you. If you ain't got a Benz, you ain't nothing, right? The car gotta look like something. It gotta look like it got some fire rims. It gotta have some bass to it, right? You gotta have a name brand car, just like you gotta have name brand clothes. You gotta have a Dodge Charger, or oh, you got a Honda 2.0. It's a little fast, but you ain't got a Charger. I got a BMW. You get a Lambo. They want to get a Ferrari. Guess what? They push this to put you more in that other lesson. It's all a distraction. That car ain't getting you salvation. They know what they're doing, right? So again, slave labor replaced paid work, causing unemployment and class tension. So slave labor, crop, sharecrop, what they was doing here, right? That replaced paid work. Now look at us now. They're being a slave and getting paid is one and one. Because if you are an employee, you are a subject, a slave or a servant, and you are a servant to your job, right? If they got orders, hey, you have to stop, and this is what you do. This is your job. You have to follow those orders. Guess what? You're a slave. You're a subject to that role. It says, let's get this. I think do I want to? I wanted to read this. I'm gonna read this in the KJV and the NLT because yeah, before I started this live, I was going through some of these things. James chapter 5, verse 1 to 5. Just for time's sake and because of this battery, I'll just read it in NLT. Please, if you're getting edified and you like what you're hearing from this information, go read it in the KJV. James chapter 5, verse 1 and 5. I'm gonna read it in the NLT. Look here, you rich people, weep, growing with anguish, because of all the terrible troubles ahead of you. Your wealth is rotting away. This is why they're coming out with a new strategy. This is why digital currency is coming in, right? Soon as they made a space station, right? Soon as they made these ships that can go deep down, guess what? That was the sign of their fall, man. It says, "And your fine clothes are moth-eaten rags. Your gold and silver have become worthless." What's over the silver and gold that they push? Paper, money. They keep the silver and gold to themselves. They put a percentage on that. Back then, in ancient Rome, because this is James, this is in the time of Rome. Gold and silver. It wasn't about no damn paper. Gold and silver. Right now, paper is becoming worthless. The very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire. This treasure you have accumulated will stand as evidence against you on the day of judgment. And it's crazy. They're gonna feel so butthurt when their kingdom fall. They're gonna be thinking about all the riches, all the kingdoms they had under their feet, all that rich, all that money I had. Do you know, Jake, how they feel when they lose $100,000? Right? Drug dealers, they lost 50,000. They gotta start all over. It says, "For listen, Hear the cries of the field workers, whom you have cheated of their pay. That's all Jake from the beginning of this slavery here, all the way from Rome, all the way to now. The wages you held back cry out against you. The cries of those who harvest your fields have reached the ears of Yahweh of heaven's army. You have spent your years on earth in luxury. This is Rome, right? And even directed for the Pharisees and Sadducees, right? False teachers that's trying to make money out of this truth. They are living this ministry in luxury, right? But really staying on the point of Edom, Edom is living on this earth. They spent all their years. How long has America fully been established? For 249 years. Next year marks 250. That's the minimum a kingdom lasts is 250 years. So next year is the anniversary of America's dynasty. Lord willing, because like the apostle, this is the coming year of the judgment, the fall of Babylon, the coming of Jacob's trouble, the push of the MOTB, RFK. He just said that all Americans should be wearing a wearables, tracking devices, so we could track your health, track this and track that. But technology growing, they want it to be more. Hey, don't take my word for it. Look it up for yourself. You have fattened yourselves for the day. For the day of slaughter, right? And this, the Lord is allowing them to grow more wicked, to grow more fat. Be obese. Be like Precious. Be Hercules. Get more fat. That's what I want. I want them to fall on their. I want them to get so fat that who was it? Who was it? It was one of the kings. It's what was it? It was one of the kings. I think it was either yes. Was it Ud? Was it in the book of Judges or was it a king in Israel? He was fat and he fell off his chair and he broke his neck. I think that was the Israelite king. I think it was one of the Israelite kings. Let me look it up. Let me fact check. I don't want to lead nobody the wrong way. Um, I think this was when the Ark of the Covenant was taken. Yep, Eli. Eli, the high priest and judge of Israel, fell backwards off his chair and broke his neck. That goes into 1 Samuel, the fourth chapter, verse 18. He broke his neck, dying after hearing the news that the Ark of the Covenant had been captured by the Philistines. Go read that. 1 Samuel in the fourth chapter. Read from verse 1 down to 18. Right? Get edified. Right? So again, going to ChatGPT, judgment is declared on the rich who lived in luxury while oppressing others, neglecting the military. Roman elites started hiring mercenaries, foreign soldiers who are not loyal to Rome. I don't know if y'all know, but even Esau hires people of other nations that's truly not loyal to America. That just showing the same thing that happened to Rome is happening here. Let me get a precept in the NLT again. You can read this in the KJV, right? I just read it so many times in the KJV that when I read it in NLT, it hits even more. So this is Ecclesiastes 1, verse 9 in the NLT. History merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. So hiring missionaries and people that's not loyal to Rome is not nothing new. So America is doing the same thing. They're going to do the same thing. They've been doing the same thing, right? Elite leaders stopped training Roman citizens for war and focused on politics and profit instead. Yes, there's people in the military and the army and the Marines, but they care about politics. They care about wealth, profit, right? If everybody just all businesses stop working, how would America make money? Yes, they make trade in other nations, but that trade comes back here. They make trade with China and they sell their products here, right? Some of your shoes, your underwear is made in China. but they sell it here, right? They might pay 3 cents, 10 cents overseas, and then charge your arm and a leg. You get some J's, some Jordans, right? They pay $3 from $3 to $50 to make those shoes, or it's 3 cents to $50 to make your shoes, and they sell it to you for 300, 500. The army became weaker, less Roman, and more divided. Wait, hold on. Let me find out something. Now, weapon wise, America is not the strongest right now because Russia is overpowering it. It says while some assessments, like the 2023 index of the U.S. military strength from the Heritage Foundation, suggest the U.S. military is weaker than in the past. Others argue it remains the most powerful military in the world. Um, the perceived decline is linked to factors like smaller force size, aging equipment, increased global threats. However, the U.S. still spends more on defense than any other nation and maintains a sufficient technological advance, which I can agree because America, out of all nations on the earth, has the most military footprint in all nations on the earth. No other nation has the most footprint as America. That's what helps them stay afloat because they they be in everybody business and they be ready for when somebody start, we're ready to go. But when we talk about being that military might, especially with your weapons, half of the weapons we got is even sold to the other nations. So now America has these missiles, these nukes. Now the other nations got them. Russia has the most ICBM missiles on the earth, more than America. America is second. Russia has more than them. Next page. Let's go to Jeremiah 51, verse 31. Oh man. Oh man. Please, please, please. Oh man, that win. I might have to just use the electronic device because it's gonna take me longer to get to these pages because of the wind. Yep. So I can family got this ancient Bible right here. So we'll just go to the precept on my phone just for time's sake. Jeremiah 51, verse 30. In the KJV, it says, "The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might has failed. They became as women." That lines up with Isaiah 19 and 16, which Babylon will be as weak as women. It says, "They have burned their dwelling places. Her bars are broken." Right? And Babylon, I believe in Jeremiah 50:51, he's talking about uh, modern day Babylon. I believe is it in this verse. Let me see. No, yeah, yeah. So yes, Jeremiah 51, 50 and 51. He is speaking about. Yep. Look, Jeremiah 50 and 51 is speaking about modern day Babylon. Earlier, I read Isaiah 54 and 16. This verse right here goes with that verse because it says he created the smith and the waster. Jeremiah 51 verse 1 in the KJV. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon. I will rise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, which is their allies, that rise up against me, a destroying wind. Now let's look up that word destroying wind. This is in the Old Testament, so this is in Hebrew. 7307, Arua. Yeah, Arua. Now it's saying Ru'ah, but I think it's Arua, but it's no U. Ru. Let me so we on the third page. I just want to make sure that I pronounce this right because this is Hebrew, and I don't want somebody on this live to take what is actually said and take it somewhere else, and you be wrong. So Ra, Wa, Ra, Wa, Ra, Ra, Wa, Cha, Ra, Wa, Cha, Ra, Wa, Cha, right? When, biblical usage, when, breath, mind, spirit. Let's get to the point. Air, gas, um, temper. We got multiple usage, but I want to get the point. Sorrow, trouble, um, as implying profit to utter instruction for warning, imparting warlike energy in executive and administration power, as endowing men with various gifts. Um, ooh, blast. It says blast. When you go in the Strong's definition, it says da, 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 da. It says air, anger, blast, tempest. Now, when we go to and whirlwind, when you go to Second Ezra 13, it said out of Yahushai came out of his mouth came out a tempest, but he spoke and the chariot brought forth fire. So that destroying wind, right, is a tempest, but a whirlwind. That whirlwind is going into when the nukes come, it goes into that mushroom cloud. Lord willing, y'all got that. Lord willing, y'all got that. Oh man, let's get back to ChatGPT. What picture was we at? Okay, moral decay and idolatry. Roman elites lived in extreme pleasure, sexual immorality, and idol worship. Yes, they did orgies, same sex, right? They pushed that in Babylon, right? Now, a man can't have multiple wives, but it's okay for LGB 123 community. That is crazy. A man gets 1,000 sperm a day. I mean, 1,000,000 sperm a day, but he's by law can only have one woman. But the LGB 123 community can just they can marry each other. Come on, man, that don't even sound right. But that goes back to not having a solid. They don't want a solid household, and they want to be able to have control in your house. Like the one elder said, when you get a wife and you have a child, the government own both of them, right? They really own your child. Your child is theirs. The birth certificate is Social Security. The brother Yerumia put Acts 20 and 30. Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things to draw any disciples after them. Come on, man. That's beautiful. Also, your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things to draw away disciples after them. Come on, man. Right? This Babylon and going with Rome, right? Because even in the book of Acts, the apostles was in the time of Rome, right? What was the Pharisees doing, man? They was afraid of the ministry of Yahushua that people was going to leave from following them and follow Yahushua. And they was like, oh man, the Romans might take our power away, that we might lose everything. So they had to plot to kill Yahushua, unalive Yahushua. I mean, they had to fulfill it. That was their lot. But they doing this in America, right? When they did what is that the movie for the Panthers, that movie was showing you that the government infiltrated the Black Panthers, man. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. It was really all the Lord. But a lot of those people got infiltrated by either the government, man. And guess what? The government benefited off of the Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, making them a freaking a holiday, or for what they done and all of this and all of that. Man, that was just another way to control niggas, man. Another point, it says they promoted decadence and hedonism, pleasure over discipline, undermining Roman values, right? And this is what they do in America, man. Pleasure over discipline. That's why a lot of us have a hard time disciplining ourselves, our women, our men, because you've been so westernized. Most women are used to having their way, having their voice being heard all the damn time. My opinion, my opinion. You made me feel like this. All praise to Yahweh Shem Al Shai. The men of the Lord is getting a sense. Like I'll be looking at how I handle my household, and I look how other brothers, like the brother Yerumya, even though it was a skit, but I watching that video, I do believe that was real. His wife was saying, "Yes, my Lord, whatever you want, whatever you want." Even though he was joking, I believe through the spirit how this brother hold himself. I know that that woman is saying, "My Lord, whatever you need, whatever you want." Hey, and he might get on her ass about something, which privately, we were speaking, when we was on TikTok, we were speaking on something, but he put order in that. You ain't about to go do this, and she listened to him. Esau don't want us to have order in our household. This is why they feed you women with all that dumb shit, man. Right? Because discipline is within yourself, but discipline even comes when the man is in the household. Discipline for the wives, and the children. We need that to overpower this motherfucking system. Yeah, see, confirmation, right? And just a sidebar for any brother, in order to establish your marriage, you want to be around brothers that you labor with that understand the scriptures, because there's brothers that I can say that might not be married, or that don't have multiple wives, but they're good in the scriptures to give some point of view. But then you got brothers that is married and they handle the house. Those are the ones you want to learn from. Those are the ones you want to master certain attributes and apply within your household. It helps us build on our mannerisms as husbands, as leaders, and as fathers, right? Just wanted to say, right? And some of you women can learn too how certain other women hold themselves when they with their head, you know. So now let's look at another point, the water brother. It says entertainment like gladiator games distracted the people from growing problems. This was in the other video we did about ChatGPT. The elites are doing the same thing as Rome. So you don't worry about politics, the news, what's going on in the world, entertainment. Right now, 4th of July. And Donald Duck, do you know how many Jake about to use their food stamps just for this 4th of July, Lie, just for all of that, and don't even know that they're pushing to be done away with Medicaid, which is food stamps and anything that come with Medicaid. Some places already got it. You got some of Eve that got mad when she was making 700 to 500 a month off of food stamps, getting food stamps. Now she only getting $85, and I think she got 4 or 5 kids. You got to know everything outside this truth is a distraction. Sometimes your marriage might be a distraction, especially if your wife not in this thing. But if she in this thing, you got little things that but that ain't nothing major. But the main distraction is this thing that Rome, Babylon pushes on us. The video game. I play the game, when I have my free time or when I'm really off. But look at your kids. Look at some grown-ups on the game. I know somebody getting paid to play the game for 12 hours. Not, do you read? They don't even know what the hell going on. It's a distraction. Everybody talking about sport. Oh, football coming on soon, man. I can't wait. Everybody worried about that, but don't know what the hell going on. Don't know anything about the Lord, because guess what? They got you. This is Rome all over again, man. Rome, the same way how it's built. We didn't even get to the crispy part. You know when you eat a slice of pizza, what's the last thing you got to eat? Now, some people probably eat the crust and then the pizza. You backwards. You backwards. But you eat the sauce, the cheese, the pepperonis, right? Beef pepperonis, right? Beef pepperonis or the turkey pepperonis. You eat that first, and then you eat the crust. We're about to get to the crust real soon, right? So they're pushing distractions to the people from growing problems. Yeah, we're having problems, but we don't want them to know. You know what? Let's give them some stimulus checks. Let's get this precept. Romans chapter 1. Come on, phone. Just stay with me. Stay with me. Romans chapter 1, verse 21. It says, because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as the Most High, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, which Jake is doing. And we have to thank Esau feeding off of us, feeding and examining. Like, you know what? Let me see what they like. Let me see what they don't like. So the thing that they don't like, I'm not going to push on them. Braden Circus, that's a fact. Yo, people don't know. Go on YouTube. Go on TikTok and ask. No, go on YouTube and look what they push for children and grown folks in China. They don't push ass twerking, weed, streamers like they do in America. Somebody somebody selling you something on TikTok. Yes, they doing that in China too, but they promote education, how to put a gun together, how to make this, how to put this chemical together, how to make makeup, how to do these things. They got you niggas in a damn pudding. With Bill Cosby, she went to pudding. They got you in a pudding state. I almost said Putin. So imagination, their foolish heart, their foolish mind was darkened, right? Darkener is really in this world, right? No wisdom, no knowledge and understanding of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, professing themselves to be wise. They became fools. And that's a lot of Jake, especially you niggas in the world. It says, and change the glory of the uncorruptible God into a image made like the incorruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creepy things. That Jesus picture, right? Not Jake. Yes, Jake. We talk about don't make an image of the Lord. When you go into the etymology of that word image, especially when you go into the law, it takes you back to molten image. Molten it stems from molding metal, right? A solid, silver or gold. That's how we made our idols or molded him into wood. Brothers is using a picture in a symbolic way, right? Now, if a brother is worshiping the image, oh hallelujah, you're going off, right? I'm just saying that because what this was talking about, right? People are making birds, four-footed beasts, and creepy things, and they're worshiping these as it is God, right? But it's not. The Heavenly Father is in the heaven, right? What you don't see is what you should be worshiping. It says, wherefore the Most High also gave them to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, right? Basically, to veil affection in degrading things with each other's bodies, right? Degrading each other. It says, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause, the Most High gave them up into veiled affection, right? Shameful desires. For even their woman did change the natural use into which is against nature, basically indulging in same sex, right? Two women playing bumper cars or Edward Scissorhands. And likewise, also the men leaving the natural use of the woman, right, and becoming Diddy, burning in their lust one towards another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was met. Right? That's a penalty of death, right? And that goes back into the law. Paul is just referencing the law, but he's expounding on it way deeper and this is the book of Romans, and we started picking up what the Romans did. When you go into the Greek activity, you're going to be like Greeks, right? It's a Jewish website where they talk about the Jews, Israelites, the real Israelites. They would get their foreskin that's dried up or that still is moist and go sew it back on their healed Oscar Mayer Winker, and it get done. I'm a Greek. Because sometimes you would get checked to know if you were in Greek fashion. Did you get circumcised? And they see you sewed it back on, right? And Greeks and Romans was doing orgies, even though Rome pushed one wife, one husband. That's what America get that from, right? While on the other side they doing orgies. How one man, one wife, but you could do orgies? That does not make sense. Don't make sense at all, right? It says, and even as they did not like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, right? Foolish thinking, to do those things which are not convenient, right? Something that was never, things that should not be done, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, um, uh, malignant whisperers, right? Basically, you gossip. What a lot of our women do, full of envy, envying one another, right? In a righteous aspect, but that's different, right? But envy in an unrighteous way can lead to you being covetousness, having negative thoughts against your brother, or deception, or wanting to murder him, right? Covetousness, which goes with it. Fornication, not in a way what everybody else saying. Fornication goes into idolatry, right? In the book of Romans, idolatry, and it can go into adultery, women laying with another man when she has a husband, or a man laying with another man's wife. Backbiters, uh, haters of God. Backbiter is a backstabber, a snake. Despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, which our children, a lot of our children is becoming monstrous children, without understanding, covet breakers, without natural affections, implacable, unmerciful, and who, knowing the judgment of the Most High, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Right? So those that's doing that now, starting with Esau, but really the Israelites, the 2/3, you're gonna be destroyed. Right? You definitely gonna be destroyed. So, Paul basically was condemning the Romans' idolatry and moral decay, listing the veiled affection in the reprobate mind, the foolish mind. And he wasn't speaking to heathens, he was speaking to the Israelites, because who was the law given to? If he's speaking about 1, 2, 3, uh, uh, um, the alphabet crew that's doing the alphabet backwards from Z to A, if he was speaking of that law, he was speaking to Israelites, right? So let's go to the next page. Ignoring the signs of decline. It says elites refuse to reform or repent, even as the empire declines. We know Esau cannot repent, but really it's just talking about being sorry for what he's doing to the people. He was never sorry to his subjects. That's what they, in the beginning of America, they was calling you subjects. And you can even get that in Rome and Greek. You were calling your master dominos, which is another form of master. It says they ignored signs of invasion, which right now Congress, the Capitol, was just speaking about UFOs, UAPs. We keep seeing more signs of this. Man, what is it? Some people thinking it's fictional, or they saying we need facts, we need scientific proof to prove what we're saying, such and such. But some of them saying, man, we're seeing these things. They're real. They're talking about the chariots of the Lord, man. And they said, some people said we have to keep it. Some of their bosses said they got to keep some of the things they saying secretive. Some of the things they did observe, some of the things that they did see, because they don't want the people in the world to get in a hoax. Now, Jake, that's in the world, they gonna really, like the one brother we used to lay with. He used to say those is not angels; those is really aliens. Some of you Jake is gonna really think they aliens if they was to tell you something, you know. But it's really the Lord hushing Esau mouth because they ain't gonna teach it the right way. The minute the Lord is letting you know, the angels is always visiting the earth, right? Genesis 28, verse 10 and 12. They coming and going all the time. Some of them is coming without you seeing in a chariot. They're walking in the midst of us right now. You don't see them. Then you got some that's in the chariot that the Lord made fly past you just for you to see them. Hey, if you see a video, guess what? You've been seen because the Lord worked through all things. The next thing it says, instead of fixing problems, they built monuments. Wait, Salaki. They ignore signs of invasion, economic crash, which we're in right now, natural disasters, which we see this fluently. Instead of fixing problems, they built monuments, held festivals, and praised their own power. What they do with 9/11? We'll wait. Let's get um, Isaiah chapter 1. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 5. It says, why would ye stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more, rebel more and more. The whole head is sick, right? The sick, especially in the time of ancient Rome or the second Babylon, the head is sick was the rulers. If we seeing that they couldn't get things in order, they ain't paying attention to those things. Look at America. The head is sick, starting with the elites, not Donald Duck. He just one of the puppets. The whole head is sick and the whole heart is faint, right? Really just going to the body. The body of Esau, their rulership is weak. The whole soul of the foot, even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds, bruises, and purifying sores, they have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Right? When you go to Revelation 13, it says it was wounded, now it's healed. Man, it ain't healed. You know when your scar is just getting a scab, but if you stretch your arm, it still sting a little because it's not even healed. They still wounded. You still see the puncture wounds, right? Your country is desolate, which Babylon and future reference will. Your cities are burnt with fire. Your land, strangers devoured it in your presence, and is desolate as overthrown by strangers, right? Because really, this is going into Israel, right? But the same is with Rome, right? What happened to Rome when it fell? Their whole thing got overtaken. When you go look at the second movies, The Gladiators, up, I might watch that one too, first and second. You see a black man, Denzel, which is lining up with history. Some of Jake started to rule at the end of Rome's fall, man. Right before it fell, you had Israelites ruling. It got taken over. Their land got overtaken. And who was ruling in Europe? Who was ruling in England, Ireland, Sweden, Switzerland? Israelites. Jake was ruling. Now it fell through the spirit because as soon as we get some type of power, some type of free air, guess what? We start going away from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. We just do the same thing. We go back to our environment. So the leadership is corrupt and refuses correction. So just like Israel, what it says when it said, Yahushua said, when the kingdom is divided, it shall fall. The southern and northern kingdom was divided; they fell. Even inside of Judah, they fell. The northern kingdom, they fell. Look, some of the northern kingdom, which I'm gonna do a lesson on that, some of the northern kingdom cleaved to Judah, and they remained around the southern kingdom, and then they got scattered when the southern kingdom got scattered. But majority of the northern kingdom came over here, and guess what? The northern kingdom was divided. You had Issachar against the Gad and the Reubens. Go look at the movie Apocalypto. You had the northern kingdom living here and them living over there. They were divided too. That kingdom fell. America is divided. Republicans and Democrats, if they're in one body, why is it two different establishments of political power? Because they're divided. Why is the elites, one is agreeing on this side and the other one agreeing on that? Why one of the elites is betting on this side of the war and this side is betting on the other? Because they're divided. A divided house cannot stand. If the wife is not going by the desire of the husband, guess what? The house is divided. Sirach 25:1. Right? When a husband and a wife agree together, right, that's beautiful in the eyes of the Lord. Just like the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors. That's beautiful in the eyes of the Lord. Really, a woman, the agreement is coming under the order of the man. Now, a woman might have a point of view of, like, babe, I want to color the house black. You like, nah, I really don't. I don't want to. But I ain't gonna lie, babe. I really don't care. You do what you want. Just don't touch my shit. Guess what? They're in agreement. Like, babe, you go color however you want. But when it comes to leading the house, right? When it comes to, hey, yo, love, I'm about to go step out. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? That woman is not about to go against, hey, where you at? Why you didn't come home? Because now you coming and you trying to have authority of a man. You overwatching how long he gone, where he at. You don't control that man. You was created for him. Now, if it's a dying threat, yo, love, my leg hurt. And the Lord is bringing back order. We don't want to be like Babylon where it's divided. I don't want my house divided. I don't want me and my brothers that I labor with now, which for me, these are the most solid brothers I ever been with, let alone being with under Great Millstone, right? About to go labor with Great Millstone tomorrow under Zion. Like those brothers, that's unity. I want to be with them. If I'm going off, I want that brother to correct me like my head, Yaramayan. Just like the apostles. I want to be singing the same song like those birds. Cook-a-doo-doo-doo or tweety tweet. I want to sing the same song, right? So if we not in order, this thing is gonna be divided. You're gonna get kicked out, right? The next topic, it says allowing foreign invasions. The elites allow barbarian tribes like the Vesgoths and the Vendels. So lucky if I pronounce the first one a little different. It says to enter the empire either as allies or workers. Didn't they just let immigrants just come in here and now Donald Duck want to remove them? But a lot of them a lot of them is really Jake. Let's keep going. It says these groups eventually turned on Rome and sacked the capital because Rome was too weak and divided to stop them. Yo, that right there is a hit because you have some of these immigrants hiding and they're doing stuff, right? Don't you know they got Russian spies in America? You think all the Chinese people that's over here, they just 100% with America. They got their own China area in Buffalo. Don't you know some of these Africans, they got their own agenda. They make money and send it back home. A lot of these Africans, some of these Africans I even talk at, that I know that I used to work with, they don't agree with the LGBT community. They don't agree. Some of them, like when shit hit the fan, if they got a chance, some of them gonna go back to their lands. The brother put another one, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 20. But now are they many members, yet but one body, right? And that's just going back to the topic of Great Millstone and their affiliates, one body. Last Saturday, I believe, GMS South Carolina, GMS Dallas, GMS Orlando, they showed the true form of unity, right? This is not a video about all these other camps, but just off of that topic that brother said, just to boast on Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, showing us the example of what real unity is when there's no division in the doctrine, when y'all actually agree on leadership, on order, right? Whose role is who role, instead of you teaching this and I don't agree, but let's do unity. That is wrong. Unity is likeness, same mind, in agreements. Go look up the word. You got unity, I think, in Ephesians the 4th chapter. It says in agreement, oneness. If you don't got agreement in sound doctrine, in the doctrine at all, that's not unity, man. Y'all niggas just coming together. Y'all like the all-star team. You belong to the Lakers, you belong to the freaking the Pelicans, you belong to the Bulls. But when this game over, you going back to Chicago, you going back to the Pelicans, you going back to the Lakers. That's not unity, man. It's crazy out here. Beautiful precept. So now let's go back to Jeremiah, the 51st chapter, and let's read verse 12. It's Jeremiah chapter 51 in verse 12. It says, stand up. set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for Yahweh have both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. Right? In the NLT it says, raise the battle flag against Babylon, reinforce the guard and station. The watchmen prepare an ambush, for Yahweh will fulfill all his plans against Babylon. Hey, and through the secret, a lot of y'all don't know, when if Donald Duck is talking about making a golden dome, if he's saying no nation is going to do this and that, why would he make a so-called golden dome? Because he know that it's going to happen. It's inevitable. No empire is saying, oh, we're going to be good forever. No empire. Not one. Why do you think kingdoms make high walls of an invasion? Jericho. Why Jericho had high walls? So that nobody invade them. But guess what? We walked around that thing 7 times, I believe, and calling and singing, making those instruments. Then the Lord broke down those walls. It's up from here. It says, um, but if the warnings is ignored, the city falls. Right? Everybody in America is not hearing the warning of the prophets, man. Of Yahweh by Shemal Shai. The mouth of the Lord, the voice of the Lord is the word, and the prophets, apostles, evangelists, and teachers. That's how this whole word is getting pushed. It's by Yahweh by Shemal Shai spirit moving in the prophets. It's not you just sitting on TV hearing the news. It's not you, oh yeah, man, I know the world is ending. I looked at a tree. Or I smoked 10 blunts and it. No, 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 no. You in a damn delusion. The Lord set up the prophets to teach this word. Right? And I'm happy that I can call myself a prophet, but a student under the men that have been laboring longer than me to sharpen me up. Right? Yo, a lot of you brothers don't know the Lord set up brothers way before you to get you started and to sharpen you up. Because when you get started, you get sharp. You get sharp. Then you start putting on your war attire. But guess what? You keep getting better. A warrior just keeps getting better. Right? You think Bruce Lee was just training one day, I am the best. He was training all the time. A wide receiver, train all the time. You got to get loose. UFC, basketball, trying to make new moves. You want to get better. When you play in the game, you want to get better. Clicking the buttons faster. Cheat codes. Let me press 2 buttons. You want to get better. Same with marriage. Better. Your brotherhood. Better. Right? Want to get better in this thing, man. The warning is coming out. If you're not watching it, man, bye. Bye, Felicia. The next one. This is the summary of that point. Now we about to get to the crust. My bad. I still got battery. It says the Roman elite helped destroy their own empire through greed, corruption, oppression, and moral decay. What did the Lord tell? What did the elders tell Rehoboam, man? Let's see if we can go get that real quick. What did the leaders tell Rehoboam, man? It's Revelation. I said Revelation. I am so excited right now. Forgive me, y'all. I'm just too excited. That's the wrong book. Please do not write that down. Please ignore that, what I just said. Uh, it's First Kings, the 12th chapter. Because it's windy, because when I get in this physical, I know where things is at. So this is First Kings chapter 12, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, "Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed, and the king Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived. And he said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? And he spake unto him. They spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, wilt thou serve them and answer them? And speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants. Right? He told him, and they told him, be a servant unto them, and they'll serve you forever. He said, okay. Then he went to the younger counselors and he actually cleaved to them. And he said, you know what? You can make your finger heavier than your father. So he listened to the younger men and then listened to the elders, right? So Esau don't care about this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Lord. So what do? Through the Spirit, they still is taking the counsel of the Lord by the left hand side. You ain't gonna get it this way because you're not of the righteous sleeve. But guess what? You're going to get wisdom and counsel from the left-hand side. Esau getting counsel from the left-hand side. First Kings chapter 22. He's getting counsel from the left-hand side, man. Verse 19 to 23. He's getting persuaded in the spirit, in his mind, in his heart. That's why he's doing the things that he do. When Pharaoh's heart got hardened, who was it? God did. How about Shimei Shai was hardening Pharaoh's heart on the left hand side, right? So it says, betrayed their people for riches. Esau's doing that. You know how much money my job make? And brothers, your check still don't even add up. Turn away from your righteous laws, which America's giving you 44,000 laws. Weakened their military, chose pleasure over wisdom, which they push this on us all the time. Ignored prophetic signs of judgment. So now we about to get into the crust. So now ChatGPT is about to give us a breakdown or a sense comparing the fall of ancient Rome to the fall of modern day Babylon, which is America. And they're going to even add 100% scriptures lining up with GMS. This is what they said. I didn't ask for that. I just said, kid, is America and ancient Rome, are they alike? And they're saying this. So let's see what they line up. One, Rome equals Babylon the Great equals America. Prophetic parallel. Rome historical controlled the world through military conquest, political power, and culture influence. Ruled over nations with brutality. This is Mortal Kombat. Brutality and taxation. America, modern day Babylon, controls the world through military, economic, sanctions, and spiritual deception. Let me show the military part real quick. This is what it means by it control the world through military. When you see the red stars, it means when you see the red, it means 742 military bases. There's only one nation on the earth that has military bases in all nations in the earth, throughout the world, basically. You go look up Russia, they don't got it like this. China, they don't got it like this. Only America. Why? Because they were set up to be that beast. Right? So now let's get back to where we was. Now y'all seen that. Lord willing, you can stop the video, rewind it back, and screenshot that. If you ain't getting it now, I ain't giving it back to you later. So America controls the world through military, which we just showed, economic sanction, and spiritual deception. Wait. What does that go into? Let's go to Revelations, the 16th chapter. Stay with me. What they say in church, you're not with me today. This is Revelation 16 and 13. It says, I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon. Right? This is Babylon. This is really the Roman Empire. It says, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophets. Out of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils as lion, liar, a manipulator, and a deceiver, working miracles with it, which is technology with AI, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of the Almighty. So we go back to ChatGPT. It says control the world through military. One of the defiled frogs is Washington D.C., the military might. It says economic sanction. That is the financial might. That's in London, which Jacob or David Rothschild set up his 5 sons to push and create central banks, going all the way back to the Templars. That's the second. Spiritual deception. That is the false prophet, the Roman Vatican Church, which outside of this Hebrew Israelite being the top belief and the only belief on the earth, the Roman Vatican Church is the main source of all religions on the earth. It's not true. It's not a solid belief. It's just that's the main push belief, the main religion system on the earth. On the earth. On the earth. Right? That backs up so much. The brother Yeremia put Genesis 27-40, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, and thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Guess what? The yoke is off his neck. He just willy-nilly and ruling the dues of the heaven, man. Right? But if you drop Revelation 6-4, it says he got the red horse has a great sword. The red goes back to Revelations 12 when it says a red dragon talking about Rome, right? Rome is that dragon. Red goes back to Esau, because red all over like a hairy garment is just saying that the skin pigment, you can see the red through his skin, blood vessels, through his skin, and it's like a hairy garment. It's all over, right? So when it says red dragon, that's talking about Edomites, the rulers of Rome, right? Red Edomites, just going into red Rome, right? Um, and horse represents power, so it was a red horse. So reds go back to Esau, Genesis 25. Horse going to power, right? In the United States, got this business for military from people that was in the military, and I think it's called Red Horse. I think it's called Red Horse. Let's fact check that again. I had it when I was doing a lesson on this. Um, let's see if it pop up. The engineer deploying. Yep, rapid engineering. Yep, that's the title of it. Let's get it. And I just want to fact check it just so you can see what I just said. And that's all. This is all just the spirit. How do you make something like this? Uh, if I go to the Wikipedia, it's just gonna pop right up. It's called Rapid Energy Deployable Heavy Operational Repair Squadron Engineers. It says United States Air Force Heavily Construction Unit. Their combat engineering capability are similar to those of the U.S. Navy Seabees in the U.S. Army Heavy Construction Organization. So this all stems from the United States Air Force. Look what it's called. You see that, right? It says Red Horse. Now let's go back to the blue letter. And since we in Revelation, let's go to Revelation 6. Revelation 6, verse 4. It says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon. So this is a man to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. Right? And why the Lord always use him as a man? Because the nation comes through the loins of a man. So it says, in another horse that was red. So you got to put red horse together because the red goes back to Esau, and the horse is the example of who this is, which is power, right? Red power, right? Esau's power. Let alone what power do Esau come with? Technology. His fighter jets, submarines. Yahweh Shai, he's a white horse, right? Righteous, pure, glorified, but that horse represents his power. He's going to come with the heavenly chariots, heavenly power. Nobody can beat Yahweh Shai. Nobody, literally, literally. You already lost before you got there, buddy. This is Revelations for ChatGPT. They put Revelation 17:5. And upon their foreheads was written the name mystery. Because this is the mystery. Who is ruling this kingdom? Where did it come from? Right? Babylon the Great. Babylon goes into the meaning of confusion. Confusion the Great. The mother of harlots. Why do you think a lot of our women are whores? Because they got it from their mammy. Right? This is a queendom. Babylon is the queendom of all harlots. And a lot of our women through the spirit is harlots. You know, he said this is a adulterous generation. A lot of our women, you know, had a body, you know, before they got with you. But that's just a curse that's, that's put on us. It says in abominations of the earth. Come on, man. Does that not stem to to America? And it says the abomination of the earth. Don't you know when you go to I think before I say it, let me correct myself. Let me make sure that I'm not about to take y'all on a goose chase. It's limitations 13. Yeah, so I mean, if you have leprosy you unclean. I was gonna add that into because it says in abominations of the earth, right? Esau just himself is abomination, but the things that they promote in the system in four corners of the earth is always against the Lord. Abomination means a disgust or a dislike, and they promote everything that's against Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Let's get the other point. It says Revelations 13:1 and 2 speaks of the beast system revived from a deadly womb, right? And our elders, right, teach that this is going that the from verse 1 that is going into the Roman Empire through NATO in the EU, let alone in the regeneration, reincarnation, because it's going to come back again. If it was wounded and it healed, it's going to come back with the same 7 heads and 10 horns, and America being the head. What back then? What was the head of the ancient fourth beast? Rome, right? So Rome was the head, and then you had the seven heads and the 10 horns, NATO and EU, right? But now they're in the reincarnation in this kingdom, reestablished, right? Corruption and oppression by the elites. This is part two. Rome, the rich enslave the poor, tax their own citizens heavily, which we read in the first segment of this live, built massive temples and monuments while people starved. Uh-oh. Hold on. The sound going out. Sound probably going out. Let's use this other mic. If this one will let me. Can you guys hear? Can somebody tell me that they can hear me in the chat? Just put a one. Put a one if you can hear me. Put a one if you can hear me. Okay, cool. Okay, so back to it. It says built massive temples and a monument while people starved. Right, one of the so-called big temple, which they hold high, is the Vatican Church. Even though they got other cathedrals, that Vatican, even if it's short, it stands higher than all the other ones, because that third defiled spirit. Now America, the elite banking families, Rothschild, Rockefellers, extra exploit the people via inflation and debt, funds warfare, Hollywood, and witchcraft, while poor communities lack food, education, and housing. And they push on you the water love, the water appreciate you. Um, they push GMO food and computerized food and a mixed food, right? Witchcraft is on a on time a high level in different ways, even in the medical field. Highly weird, highly weirdo. Okay, and funds warfare. right? And all that Hollywood, that stems back into Rome. That theater stuff, distraction, sports, celebrities, that all stems back from Greek and Roman empires. Let's go to, I'm going to just read this because of the battery. Isaiah, they quote Isaiah 10:1 and 2. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, to turn aside the needy from judgment. Who makes unrighteous decrees? Barack Obama, which is not a Jake, accepted the LGBT community. Now we can't speak nothing against him. Can't say nothing on YouTube. Guess what? The CEO of YouTube is one of the Sesame Streets. Yay! Can't speak about him, man. Right? They make decrees on you can't even speak about the Juju beings. If they're the people, guess what? Everybody talking all about the true Israelites. We don't got no law about us. What you did to Yahweh Shai, right? Even though it was a law to us what we can and what we can't do, Esau, y'all just did what y'all did. But y'all make up a law just to protect your little small head. Thank you, Mother Love. Thank you, appreciate both of y'all. Y'all make laws that we can't speak about y'all small hats. Well, why is that? If they so tough and high up, that mean y'all afraid of the truth. That is crazy. It's amazing how the Lord be working though. It says, and to take away the right from the poor. They quote James 5 and James chapter 5, verse 1 to 5 again, speaks of the rich man who lived in luxury and oppressed workers. Direct parallel. Rome did it, and America did the same thing. They're twinsies. Military outreach, moral weakness. Rome spread itself thin by fighting too many wars and use mercenaries with no loyalty to Rome. Guess what? We have allies, and later on, the allies gonna turn against us. Moral decline led to weak leaderships. America, military bases is over 100 countries. Wait, we looked; it was 142, or I think it was 190 something. America, look, that shows we're fighting too many wars, but we in everybody's business. Most soldiers now fighting for money, not loyalty. There's nobody really getting up for war just because they want to join and be on America's side. Guess what? It's a string attached. You get benefits. Who really want to fight for America without benefits? I don't know nobody. I'm just saying who gonna really do that? It says leadership more focused on social movements, pride agendas. We see that whole month of June was all based on it. Vanity, then strength or judgment, right? They focus on vanity more than strength and judgment. That's why there's no righteous decrees on this earth, right? What it say in Proverbs? When the earth is given to the wicked, the people mourneth. But when the righteous are in authority, the people are going to rejoice. Ain't no rejoicing. Don't you know Jake be like, man, I'm tired as hell working, man. Man, I only get 2 days off, man. The heathen gonna be happy when they off on the Shabbat, man. Even when you get off of work, it's still work to be done. You in a prison. When you leave your house for a vacation, going down the street, going to the store, going to the park, you gotta lock your house. Jake really wasn't locking their doors. When Yahushua came in, when Timothy said, unless I touch his scars, then I'm gonna believe that he is. Yahushua, they were barricading, they locked the door and barricaded the door. Because when Yahushua came, guess what? The other teachers was getting afflicted. So they were afraid. Yahushua came through all of that. You know, he used his spiritual powers. We gotta lock our doors. Somebody gonna rob us. But you go to to the suburbs where I used to live. They leave that door open. Like, come in. We ain't home. I had friends, especially in East Roy, Edomitville, where they leave their door open, and I walk in. Hey, y'all home? And they turn around. They pull up in the drive. I'm like, yo, I thought he was like, no, it's okay. You can stay in the front patio. You can wait because you remember I told you to come over at 4, but I was doing soccer. That's how they do. That's how they run their thing in the suburbs. We ain't doing that where Jake at. Let's go to the next page. It brings up Jeremiah 51 and 30. We brought this out. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Isaiah 14, 11 and 12. The pomp is brought down. The arrogance of Babylon, America, leads to her fall. Pleasure, idolatry, filth. This is number 4. Rome, known for orgies. I said this earlier. They're known for orgies. Don't they got sex parties in America? Don't they got the PORN where you could go to LA? You got the store, right? The store. Now some people might do it to spice their marriage up, but some people doing it for swinger parties, right? For OnlyFans content, right? Then you got the website, and in Rome they didn't have no phones, right? The brother said Ezekiel 38 and 11, it says, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of the unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. Come on, man. Yo, and when you go and when you read verse 10, uh Russia dealing with God, may God dealing with God, that they're gonna the Lord is gonna put that evil thought on them, and they're gonna press that button. And how all these things is going to visit is gonna be those missiles, man. Yo, I don't see Russia sending physical people over here when this place getting destroyed. But they already got people over here, man. Secret individuals, man. Oh, the battery 20. I mean, and it's amazing they let us get through all of this. So again, it says known for orgies, gladiator games, idol worship, turned away from their ancient Roman values and collapsed morally. America promotes LGBTQRS and elemental P, fornication, drug use, pornography, abortion, and extra. I didn't even read this part. I didn't read none of this before I even started this live. Glorify celebrities, false idols, which even celebrities will go into an idol too. Sports, music idols, right? Romans chapter 1, verse 26 to 32. We read this earlier. Paul writes the uncleanness and the veiled affection of Rome, same in modern Babylon. There's nothing wrong. Yeah, go make you some music, but we're not made here to be idolized, man. It's about idolizing Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? We're not made over here to be a celebrity. What we celebrating for? When you get done with that concert, you back in captivity. I don't care if you got $1 billion. You $1 billion slave. You got you $1 million slave, right? Oh, I'm a prostitute. You're a prostitute slave. You're a harlot slave, right? I'm locked up. You locked up slave. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm a baby. You a baby slave. Hey, baby slave. You know what I'm saying? I I'm I'm a happy person. I'm a LGB. You're a LGB slave. The joke's on you, buddy, old pal Skipperoonie. Revelation 18:3, for all nations have drunk the wine, the philosophy, right? The system of the wrath of her fornication, a daughter of Babylon. 5, judgment comes after warning. The prophets warned ancient Rome. Now the prophets, especially the Hebrew Israelites, GMS among them, are warning Babylon the Great, America. Jeremiah 51 and 6 and 8. Jeremiah 28 and 8. The people of old was prophesying against kingdoms. But actually, let me get that real quick. I know I got time to get that. Let me get that real quick. I know y'all don't got time. Right? This is Jeremiah 28, verse 7. Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thy ears, and in the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesy both against many countries, against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. The truth basically been out here for 56 years. This verse is for us. Hey, brother, how long you? I've been in the truth for 5, 10 years, 15, 20 years. I only been in the truth for a month. Guess what? The prophets that have been before me and before thee. So if you only been here a year, I've been in this thing for 7, 8 years. So the prophets before me and before you, Both, I mean, and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. It's a spiritual domino effect, right? Apostle Tyler been in this thing for 40 years. Then you got the other one, 35, then 30, 29, 27, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Keep going down. And it's just been a domino effect, bringing forth sound doctrine, 100% truth. And of course, you got other brothers teaching, letting you know who you is, letting you know who Esau is. They might not have that 100%, might not come in sound doctrine, might come in unity camp with everybody, right? But the Lord is allowing them to put some type of seasoning. You know, they might be putting a little too much salt adobo on the damn plate, but the Lord is using something. But the Lord got the men that is bringing forth sound doctrine, 100% truth, that haven't pivoted away, that's always getting sharper and sharper, right? They've been pushing and shaking the hand. Ezekiel 35, shake the hand of Esau. This goes back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, what I said earlier, verse 3. Before the destruction comes, Esau, the man of perdition, right? Son of sin, right? The man of sin has to be revealed before the destruction. This video is hyphening that. He got revealed again today. And I know it's another brother right now on TikTok doing it. Another brother on TikTok. He probably doing it right, starting his live right now. It's a brother that did a video 5 minutes ago on YouTube. Another brother an hour ago. Maybe yesterday, and it just uploaded. Maybe Pastor Tahar. Brothers, anything that's coming out in this truth is revealing Esau. Because if we saying who the real Israelites is, reveal that they're not. Who's in power? You know? So they said Jeremiah 51 and 6 and 8, flee out of the midst of Babylon. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Revelations, the 8th chapter, verse 4. If Revelation, the 18th chapter, say Babylon is going to be destroyed in 1 hour, that's not talking about ancient Babylon because that was overtaken. When you read verse 4, come out of her and don't take part of her plagues. Only way Israelites coming out of here is getting beamed up. Now, some of them will get in the spirit world because they probably died for the faith. But the only way we coming out of here is not no plane, no boat. The elect is getting beamed up out of here, right? So that's why you want to flee out of here spiritually and mentally, so that when Yahweh Shai come, you can physically get delivered. 2nd Ezra 15, verse 6, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Guess what? Rome did not rule the whole earth. The reborn, right? The healed Rome ruled the whole earth, man. From the east to the west to the south to the north, they run this. What did Beyonce say? Who run the town? No, it's who run the world? Esau. Esau do, man. Beyonce, yeah, hey, I hear you. But who run the town? Who runs the world? Esau, man. Esau runs the city, man. 6, destruction by fire. Same end. Rome was weakened and eventually invaded, burned, and lost to internal decay. Now, we remember Nero blamed us for putting Rome on fire, but it wasn't us. It was Nero doing that because he was trying to make a new Rome, make Rome great again. America, in time prophecy, will be burned with nuclear fire in 1 hour. Revelations 18, verse 8 to 10, she shall be utterly burned with fire, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Isn't it a coinka dinky that America, one of their news TV show is called The 60 Minutes? The Lord got a sense of humor. You name a show 60 Minutes, and you about to go bye-bye in 60 minutes? The Lord is hilarious. And you don't even got to laugh. He's just hilarious. He's hilarious, man. You made a show called 60 Minutes, and this verse just said, she shall be utterly burned with fire for 1 hour. In 1 hour is thy judgment. Come. What's 1 hour? 60 minutes? Oh, sugar, Splendor. Isaiah 13, verse 19 and 20. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, because it's more diverse from all kingdoms, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. How did he overthrow Sodom and Gomorrah? By fire and brimstone, But now we have a technological or a technical fire and brimstone by ICBM missiles, which is going to turn this place into a lake. Sorry, Genesis. The lake is not a river. The lake is a standing body of water, which when you zoom out of the United States, it looked like a standing body of water. Especially when this whole thing is struck by nukes. It's going to be looking like a standing body of fire. The next slide is the conclusion. The elites repeating Rome mistakes. You, man, you stupid. You brutish. Well, what he said in 8 Mile, what did Eminem say in 8 Mile? You saying the same shit that he said. Guess what? Rome 1 and Rome 2.0 is doing the same thing that he did back then. He didn't learn nothing. It says the elites of Rome fell due to greed, idolatry, moral decay, oppression, corrupt leadership, ignoring the prophets. Prophets back on the earth, baby. The Lord did it. In order for you to get out, somebody has to be prophesying. Y'all bugged out if you think the pastor is on the right path. It says the elites of modern day Babylon America are doing the same thing. And prophecy shows that they will face fire, famine, war, and captivity. Revelations chapter 13, verse 10. Gadget, I'm sorry. You got to go fix that. You're saying that Esau is not going to get captivity. When Babylon destroyed, all Edom is going to be destroyed. You're bugging. He had us in captivity 3 times. The Greek captivity, the Rome captivity, the American captivity. Yes, a big handful. A third part of probably their whole nation going to be destroyed. They people. But the elites and some of they elite babies, they ain't going to be dead. They're going to be the first crop of slavery. You bugging. You bugging. Right? Yeah, Yahushua was under being under servitude. When he was in his mother's womb, they was taxing his mother and his father. And you don't think Yahushua ain't about to get a taste of that? Oh yeah, I want mine. Revelations 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. When you go to Revelations 13, verse 1 to verse 1 to 8. Ancient Rome brought multiple nations into captivity, but prophecy-wise, they brought the Israelites in captivity. America, when they came into established under the Europeans, they came in made war with the northern kingdom, what we see in Daniel the 7th chapter, Genesis the 49th chapter, let alone brought the southern kingdom over here, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and made war with them in multiple ways. Because war is not just only fighting with a sword. Right? War can be that they feed you gunk. Right? They had Jake eating out of the same soup gunk bowl that they do with pigs. Right? Poverty, oppression, that's a war in itself. A wise man hate oppression. But if you don't got no power, and this is all that you got, that is a war tactic. Slave sharing or selling slaves on a auction block, that was war against a nation. But we didn't have no war weapons at all. So if they led into captivity, they must go into captivity, right? So again, Lord willing, this was edifying. Again, we asked ChatGPT, is the fall of Rome going to happen to America the same way it did with Rome? And it said, of course, from what we read, yes, but it's extra in there that is going to be greater. Yes, Rome got destroyed by fire, but Rome right now is being inhabited and it's established. This new this Babylon is going to be destroyed, and it's going to only be inhabited by vultures, dragons, as in Komodo dragons, snakes, lizards. No human ain't going to dwell on this land. It's going to be a wasteland, right? Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 6 to 8. The Lord is preparing the guests for the sacrifice. The sacrifice is in Israel, and the sacrifice is in Babylon the Great, because this is going to be the greatest destruction, the greatest deliverance, the greatest judgment the earth has ever seen. in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. ChatGPT is dang near 10 and 0. And people saying Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is not real, right? And when anybody say, this is a side note, when people say, "Oh, brother, you," because I'm just saying this just to prepare anybody. Anybody say this, you mark yourself. If you saying, "Oh, you asking the internet or you asking AI," you know that the elites is controlling those things. This is AI. AI can control itself. AI is just like a computer. When you turn your computer on, you don't tell it, "Do you need an update?" The computer will update you and say, update needed." Your phone will tell you and give you a notification that it needs an update. You don't. But even some computers can be so smart that it can update on itself. That it can update on itself. So when you look at AI, which is a computer engine, it updates on its own, let alone through data, right? Whatever you type, which if you always asking something that's political, sometimes you can ask something that's going to always it's going to give you a political answer, but not based on your last question, is because it's a computer engine. So the questions that you ask, since it's a computer engine, is going to search through its computer AI device of politics. How would they know anything about Great Millstone if I didn't mention them? How would they know about Sakari if I didn't mention them in the search bar? When you use your phone and you're typing a word and the phone already finished the word for you, that's AI. When you hold your iPhone and say Siri, that's AI. At your house, you got Alexa, that's AI. When you got a Ruka or I forgot one of those TVs that you can press the mic and say Netflix, and the TV or that thing finds it, is still a form of AI. Google, half of us use Google. When you search something, that is AI. It's that Esau is not, even on YouTube, TikTok. When people get banned from TikTok or certain websites, that's not just a individual worker, because Google is moving at a high speed, because more than billions of people is using the same engine. So who's going to be back there answering your questions? Not a human. They're surveillance. They're surveilling the bugs, but it's bots. It's bots. It's bots. It's AI bots that's monitoring on a high level. We don't got the capacity to watch over a billion people. This is why this proves that the MOTB is going to be physical. And it makes so much sense, because I have an iPhone where I do not have to take the battery out. My car is digital, and guess what? When you take it apart, it has chips within inside of it. AI is the biggest thing. Technology been the biggest thing since they started to create it, and it's up from here. And it's going to keep upgrading and keep upgrading. So we do these videos to edify, which to build people up, right? And put fear of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. I cannot give the credit to Esau, and I'm not about to sit here and fear what Esau can do to me or what he did. But at the end of the day, if you can comprehend, you can ask certain questions. If you studied enough, you can discern what not to ask or what not to say or what is false or what isn't. You can go to another brother and be like, "Yo, brother, do you know this?" To sharpen yourself. Always examine and observe what you're bringing out before you just open up your mouth, so that you can be sure and have faith in what you're bringing out. So even though that this AI, it quoted even scriptures, let alone if you go look up facts, which is actually true, because AI is searching facts. I asked the question, search up 100% facts. This is a computer engine. So it's going to search facts on Rome. It's going to search facts of America. So the things that it mentioned on both, you can go search these things. When it comes to celebrities, AI know what's going on, because guess what? Celebrities use more technology than we do. Movies, video shoots, behind the scenes. A lot of these celebrities have things that we don't even have. They can get in the hospital faster than you most likely can. They could probably slip their way into a airplane faster than you can. So don't trick yourself, but treat yourself to the marvelous gospel and truth of Yahweh Shem Shai. Let alone be thankful that Yahweh Shem Shai made technology, right? For you to have a discernment to what to ask it and how to use it, because Esau is using it for the left hand. We have to use it for the right hand to break down their system in a spiritual sense. So that's what this was about. Lord willing, this is edifying. And Lord, you wake your ass up and understand you are in captivity in Rome 2.0. With that, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, the Wadi Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Shai, for allowing us to be edified again. Lord willing, your sheep can hear this word, regardless if they hear it for bear, and a mighty and a double honors to the elder apostles who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, and a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit and sound doctrine. Lord willing that you all can continue to endure and be sincere wherever you at. Continue to keep pushing. Shalom to the Akwath Young believers of this faith and this truth. Lord willing, you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, you can continue to endure and be sincere. And Lord willing, the Most High have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in faith. With that, Abba, Abba, Shalom, Shalom.